His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON's founder tradition, Prabhupada Ki, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki, Shri Srinathai Gaura Sundara Ki, New Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Sankirtan Yajna Ki, Govinda, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Sri Prabhupada. So, devotees, Hare Krishna. I'm not a great mask expert, I'm sorry. Well, really, I'm very happy to be here with you. Can you hear me okay? Yes. It's not, you can make out the different words. It's not sort of merging too much. Well, we have been missing you too much. There was a period of some weeks when I was up in Joburg. What was that? Probably October or November, something like that, when we were having programs at people's houses in the gardens. It was really nice. And then at our place, our temple in Santa, I don't know if any of you have been to our temple in Santa, really beautiful place. And well, there are 4 houses. We were staying in one, and the one where we were staying has a really nice garden. It's probably bigger than the temple room. And we were having programs there regularly. So it's nice to be able to interact personally. Of course, we love zooming around, but it's not the same as seeing the devotees live and having personal association and so on. That just makes wonderful difference. So I'm hoping, if the authorities here will allow, I'm hoping to come every few weeks, every few Sundays. And get your association. Yeah. So anyway, today we are going to talk a little bit about association with devotees, or even different types of association, but mainly association with devotees. So we'll begin by reading a verse from Bhagavad Gita, which is really like a great classic verse, you could say, when it comes to association. We will read from Bhagavad Gita as it is, Translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. We will read from the 10th chapter, the opulence of the Absolute, and we will read verse 9. You know, you've been devotees so long. I'm looking around. Some of you been devotees for what? 40 years? 40 years? 45 years? 35. Okay. Yeah. So I should test you on some of these verses you should know. I'm sure you do know already. Yeah. You know, the other day on the 7th, just whatever it was, a week ago or so, was my 49th anniversary of the day I moved into the temple in London. 49 So still, I've been a devotee less than 50 years, so I consider myself still a new devotee. Less than 50 years. Some time ago, probably several years ago or something, I was in Italy, spending a few days there in our temple, beautiful temple or just outside Milan. And the devotees took me to see some of the sights around. And we went to one Catholic monastery. And this one monk showed us around. And I asked him how long had he been living there. And he said, I forget exactly, but it was something like 55 years. Then I realized I'm still a new devotee. These people have been practicing their thing for longer than I've been practicing Krishna consciousness. Right, so Bhagavad Gita chapter 10, verse 9. First of all, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm sorry about all these chains and things. I wasn't aware it was going to be like this. No, it's just because I'm dangerous, I'm going to be changing. But it's good actually, because even though I am triple vaccinated, would you believe, but still, as a bit of an old fellow, I got to be careful. So, I guess, anyway, yeah, let's just carry on. If anyone wants to talk with me at the end, I guess we just got to do it at a bit of a distance. So, right, Machchita, Madgata, Dharma, Bodhayanta, Parasparam, Katayantas Chavam Nityam, Tushyanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. So this, of course, this is Lord Krishna speaking. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. And the purport by Srila Prabhupada: pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they're actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Caitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahmajyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits. And the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19. That Madhya Lila, chapter 19, that's Lord Caitanya instructing Srila Rupa Goswami. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God, then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water, in such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees, as stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12, 13, 18. That means right at the end of the Bhagavatam. 12th canto is the last canto. 13th chapter is the last chapter of the whole book. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Adalam Yan Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there's nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. Machchita Bhagavata Prana, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantas Chalam Nityam, Tushyanti cha lavanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestadam today. Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tiname. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurdhani Pachani. Nirvishesha Shunyarani Pastritya Veshtani. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vajtatrivistaka Sindhu Yanincha, Haditara Paramedyo Vaishnadeyo, Om Namaha, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yes, so devotees, we were asked actually to say some words about association with devotees, which is a very, not just very important, but a vital part of what is Krishna consciousness. You may be aware that Lord Caitanya, when he was instructing Sanatana Swami, actually, it's described in Caitanya Charitamrita, Manjalila, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 22. But Lord Caitanya lists out 64 devotional activities, which are basically all the devotional activities. And at the end of doing that, he particularly refers to the last 5 as being of special importance. So those last 5 are, well, the way he puts it, Sadhu Sanga, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, Sri Murtiya, Shradaya Seva. So yes, 5 activities are listed out there. First is Sadhu Sanga, association with the devotees. It's interesting, it's put first. Sadhu Sanga, Nama Kirtan is the next one. Nama Kirtan, of course, chanting the holy names. Then third one, Bhagavat Shravan, hearing, particularly the Bhagavat means Srimad Bhagavatam, but other related activities which are connected, related literatures which are connected with Srimad Bhagavatam. Sadhu Sanga, Nama Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, then Mathura Vas, living in Mathura or a similar place, which includes you can make your home, make your house into Mathura or Vrindavan, same thing. Yeah. I could just mention quite some years ago, probably 20 years ago, I visited some devotees, a nice devotee family in Isipingo. And they took me into their temple room, and the temple room was sort of in size, it was a fairly normal room. I'd say it was about 15 square meters, maybe 5 by 3 meters. But you know what? Devotees in that room, other than the floor, there were only pictures of Krishna and Radha Krishna and Lord Caitanya. You could not see the actual walls as such, because they were totally covered in pictures of Krishna. Yeah, literally from by the floor, literally to the ceiling. And then there was the ceiling, and you could not see the ceiling at all, because it was literally, totally covered in pictures of Krishna and Radha and Krishna and deities and Lord Caitanya and Prabhupada and Lord Nityananda. So I got pretty inspired by that. So Mathura Vas, live in Mathura or a place, make your living place like Mathura, Vrindavan. And Sri Murtiya Shradaya Seva, Sri Murti, the sacred deity of the Lord, Shradaya, with faith, Seva, member service. These are the 5 main, most important of all the devotional activities, basically, as given by Lord Caitanya. So, a very interesting point is that the list begins with Sadhu Sanga, associating with the devotees. And it's quite possible to, if we analyze all those different activities, it's quite possible to appreciate the importance of association in relation to the other activities. Sadhu Sanga, Nama Kirtan. chanting the holy names. And when I was there in London back in the 70s, and some of the time with none other than His Holiness Father Sadhu Maharaj. So the Sankirtan leader, his name was Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya, sometimes he would go out on Harinam on his own. If somehow, there were 50 devotees, or even maybe 60, but there was a whole lot of devotees living in the temple. But some, like festival days, for example, everybody would be busy, and he would just go out on his own, down the main street of London, Oxford Street, very, very busy street. He'd just go out on his own, chanting as a matter of duty, because he was the leader. But it's much nicer to have kirtan with other devotees. It makes such a big difference when you have kirtan with devotees like all of yourselves. The kirtan has so much life and vitality, and it's just so much more dynamic because of the hearts of all the assembled devotees. You put all those devotional, loving hearts together and have a kirtan where they all just pour out their feelings for the Lord. Gosh, it enriches the kirtan tremendously. Even, I've done a number of one-man kirtans, and I have developed to some degree the ability to play mridanga with one hand and kartals with the other hand. It can be done. Sort of. It can be done. And singing, leading the kirtan, and responding to the kirtan. It can be done. But it's not the same as getting together with nice devotees. It becomes so much more relishable. And Bhagavad Shravan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or related literatures, when we do that with other devotees, it makes the whole experience a lot richer. And particularly I had the experience firstly, I think it was 1992 or 91 perhaps, but anyway, around that time, I attended the VIHE for the first time, Vrindavan Institute of Higher Education, in our temple in Vrindavan. And there, different seminars were held for a month. So I went as a student, and I took some of those seminars for a month. And one of them was the Nectar of Devotion, led by His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj. So I attended that. And we went through from the beginning through to the end of the first part. The first part ends with, if I remember correctly, is it chapter 18 or 19. So I did that every day for a month. And I had already read Nectar of Devotion maybe 5 times. maybe at least 4, but I think 5 times I had read it already, because I've already been a devotee for getting on for 20 years. So that then I went into the seminar, and with there maybe 25 or so devotees and Maharaj himself leading the whole thing, and lots of discussion, and different points being raised and analyzed. Oh, it was amazing. And, by the time we finished after 1 month, and I walked out at the end of that, I felt that I had never read Nectar of Devotion before. I've read it probably 5 times, not less than 4 times, from cover to cover. But it was so revealing due to the association of devotees that it was just like a whole new experience and means a much deeper experience. So that's the association of the devotees. Of course, you can read Prabhupada's books yourselves, and I do, and we should all do that. I just restarted Srimad Bhagavatam. I just started about 3 chapters into the first canto. I think it's my 4th time. And it's nice. It's really nice. But when you study with devotees, knowledgeable devotees, interested devotees, because of the association, it enriches the whole experience. And then Mathura Vas, living in Mathura or some sanctified place with devotees. Of course, at home. And that's great. That's just wonderful. But when and a very interesting example which I had was the first time I went to Vrindavan was 1976. And the devotees took us, there was like 300 or 400 of us. And the devotees took us out every day for about a week to different places, Govardhan, Nandagram, Varshana, these places where devotees go when they visit Vrindavan. And I remember when we went to Govardhan Hill, they took us to this part of Govardhan Hill, which you can hardly see the hill, it's about 1 meter high. And they told us, there you go. Govardhan Hill. I thought, what? Are you serious? And it was just, there's Govardhan Hill, okay, off your obeisances, get back on the bus, and away we'll go. But when you go with devotees, I remember the first time I did a full like that. I've been a devotee in the vicinity of 20 years, and I went with, who did I go with? Oh, Madhavi Prabhu, Madhavi Prabhu from Cape Town. Was there, and a devotee from Mauritius Krishna Chandra, also extremely nice devotee. 4 of us. And so we take devotees, and because we sort of know our way around now, and we take devotees, and we in this way we can give association, and it enriches the experience of the devotees. It's practically unlimitedly, actually. So that's the tour of vows, being embellished and enriched through the association of devotees. The deity. And when you see the deity who has been worshipped, dressed, and decorated, etc., by devotees, oh, it's so wonderful. Because the devotees, the hearts of the devotees have been expressed in the deity worship. Otherwise, when you go to Vrindavan, or many places actually in India, but for us particularly Vrindavan, there are shops selling deities, and they've got so many deities, all different shapes and sizes of this one and that one. But it's just not the same as seeing even one set of the same deities, those same deities who have been worshipped by the devotees. What a difference it is. It brings everything to life. So I'm just making this point that the association of devotees, it occupies a very special place in the whole picture of what is Krishna consciousness. And it's something we should meditate on and try to cultivate. We should try to develop, and improve and increase and broaden the scope of our relationships with different devotees. Devotees there, you can get a sort of, you could say something like an association overload, where the devotees are just, oh, there's another one, oh, there's another one, and there's that one, Haribol. Particularly when you live in a small temple where there's very few devotees, then you really start to appreciate each individual devotee, the qualities they have, because they all have. Even sometimes you get a devotee who's sort of, you could say, a bit of a funny devotee, if you know what I mean. A bit kind of strange or eccentric or something like that. Every yatra has at least one, and usually a few. But even if they are a bit too loud, is sometimes a problem. Or a bit too quiet is sometimes a problem, or, they're just a little unusual. Still, if you have an open mind, then you'll see that even a kind of a little bit strange devotee has nice qualities along with the other things. And sort of, you could say, expertise in association means that we can associate with any devotee who is a devotee. Their heart is in the right place, even if sometimes the mind is a little bit off. But expertise in Krishna consciousness or maturity in Krishna consciousness means we can associate with any genuine devotee and sort of enhance, bring out the good qualities and, avoid if there's anything a bit strange there or some eccentricity or something like that. Yeah, that's one feature of advancement in Krishna consciousness, to be able to do that, rather than, it often happens if a devotee is slightly antisocial or, some sort of not so good in dealings, then we may think, oh, it's him again, and just try and give him a miss. Yeah. But actually, every real devotee, even if, and all of us have some downsides to us, every real devotee has a heart of gold. And we just got to kind of find the gold and avoid, well, as Chanakya Pandit said, and Srila Prabhupada repeated on a number of occasions, take gold from a dirty place. That takes a little advancement, really, and intelligence. So, association with devotees. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it's a very interesting point. In Srimad Bhagavatam, there are different stories narrated about different pastimes of different avatars. And then in the 10th canto, different pastimes of Krishna himself. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in one place, actually it's in the story of Krishna in the 10th canto, Krishna in Dwaraka. I forget the exact chapter, but it's the chapter in which Krishna kills Holiness. I won't go into the details, but the point is, in that chapter, Shukadeva Goswami describes or expresses astonishment that this Holiness, he was such a nonsense that he claimed to be Krishna. Couldn't believe it. How could someone do that? And he challenged Krishna that you are not the real Vishnu, I am. So Shukadeva Goswami, the speaker of the Bhagavatam, expresses that this is just unbelievable. How could this person do such a crazy thing? Claim to be God in front of God. And the interesting point is that Shukadeva Goswami speaks the same point in somewhat different words, but twice in that chapter. He expresses his just astonishment. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur makes the point that that we should note, he has said more or less the same thing twice. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, this is very unusual that a particular point is repeated in Srimad Bhagavatam. It indicates that the point is very, very important. In fact, the way he puts it, listen to this. If you haven't read the whole Bhagavatam once yet, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says that in such a small book as Srimad Bhagavatam, where so much information is just sort of compressed into it, to find a verse spoken twice, this is noteworthy. Well, so that verse is there. Not exactly, literally the same words, but the same point. And Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur notes that. But devotees, we could also note that there is another verse which is actually repeated verbatim in the Bhagavatam, and it's about association. I could give you the verse number some other time. But the verse goes, Tuliyama Levenapi Nasvargam Napumarvavam Bhagavat Sangasya Martyadam Kim Utashisha. This verse appears twice, and it means that the value of a moment's association with the pure devotee of the Lord cannot be compared to Swarga, going to the heavenly planets, or having great wealth, or great material facility by worldly standards. He makes this point. The value of such association cannot be compared. It really means there's no grounds for comparison. It's not like something is just 10 times better than another thing. It means there's some grounds for comparison. And so you can decide, well, that one's so much better. But here there's not even really grounds for making a comparison. The value of the association of devotees is just in another dimension of reality. A different type of reality altogether. Yes. So that's there. If you've got Prabhupada's books on your computer, which, is an extremely good idea to do, then you can look up that verse. You can look up. The first word is Tuliyama. Tuliyama Levenapi. Yeah. Lover, Levenapi, lover. Tuliyama, lover, Levenapi. Lover is a Sanskrit unit of time. Like we have seconds and minutes, etc. So a lover is a fraction of a second. Generally, it's taken to be approximately 1/16 of a second. Tuliyama Levenapi, Nasvargam, Napunarvavam, Bhagavat Sangasya, Martyadam Kim Utashisha. that the value of just a fraction of a second's association with a pure devotee of the Lord is worth more, cannot be compared to going to the heavenly planets or becoming very, very opulent or fortunate by the local standards here. So again, like we said, this is something we should meditate on and really try to consider. Sometimes when we talk to devotees about this, we make the suggestion that you try to memorize the 26 qualities of a devotee. 26 qualities. You can, again, if you've got Prabhupada's books on computer, it makes things so much easier to find. Try to memorize the 26 qualities of a devotee, and then when you come to the temple or go to a program or just somewhere where there are devotees, you can study them a bit and try and analyze and observe. Try and become a little observant and see, what sort of devotee do we have here? And it can be very revealing and very beneficial, actually, and really help you to appreciate the devotees more. And if we appreciate the devotees more, and if we can express that nicely, Krishna becomes so pleased. Because, as we know, Krishna says, Ye me bhakta jana bharta, na me bhakta chiye jana. Anyone who says, he is my devotee, yea, me bhakta, my devotee, Krishna speaking. Anyone who says that, na me bhakta, not my devotee. But, mad bhaktanam chiye bhaktas. One who is a devotee of my devotee, that person, Te me bhaktatama mataha. That person is my devotee. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladevi Subhadra Devi Ki Jai. Shri Srimati Gaura Sundari Ki Jai. Okay, devotees, I think you got the message. Actually, it's a deep subject, and we sometimes do seminars on giving good association, getting and giving bad association, the intricacies of the subject of association. But these are some basic ideas about good association. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Hare Krishna, dear Smaraj. We quickly want to run through the Sanga book marathon's course, so I have here in front of me a consolidated version of this course. So I'm going to start with in an arbitrary fashion. It's not in any particular order, but when I get to the top 7, actually the top 5, I'm going to let you guys know. Actually, the top 7, between the top 5 and 7 is marginal, so we want to include it and give the devotees some credit. So, Janika Mataji, she's managed 60 small books, 17 big books, 5 Maha books, with a total score of 14. and a total rand value of 1,600 rands. Marun Pale, 960 rands, a total of 40 small books, two Maha books, and total points of 14 as well. Madhumanga Prabhu, the total rand value of 1,680 rands, 21 Maha books, a total score of 42 points. Mani Manjari Devi Mataji, a total rand value of 1,200 rands, 15 Maha books, and a total book score of 30. Priyadashi Devi Mataji, a total rand value of 1,440, 18 Maha books, and a total score of 36. Krishna Devi Dasi Mataji, a total rand value of 2,560 rands. Total number of books, Maha books, is 32, and a total score of 64. Jalangi Mataji, rand value 2640. 33 Maha books, a total points of 66. Books points of 66. Pretni Suban, 800 rands. 10 Maha books, a total book score of 20. Krishna Keshava, 2,400 rands. 30 big books, 10 Maha books, a total of 40 books, and a total score of 50. Dinacharan Das, 1,840 rands, 23 books, Maha books, and a total score of 46. Avikai Krishna Das, 1,600 rands, a total number of 20 Maha books, and a total score of 40 points. Larisha Mataji, 1,600 rands, a total number of 20 Maha books, and a book score of 40 points. Vedanti, 1,600 rand, 20 books, a total score of 40 points. Radhe Radhe Devi Dasi Mataji, a total rand value of 3,320 rands, 21 big books, 40 Maha books, total books of 61 and 122 book points. Ananda Vrindavan Devi Dasi, 1,675 rands, small books 15, large books 21, total number of books 36, and a total score of 45.75. So now we're coming down to the top 7. As I said, the top 5 is quite marginal, so we're including the top 7. And at number 7, we have Niraj Maharaj. And total rand value of 5,028 rands is done 162 small books, 8 big books, and 18 Maha books, a total of 190 books. She's done 40 small books and 43 Maha books with a total book count of 83. rands, total books 57, and a book score 35 small books, 2 big books, and 102 Maha books with a total points of 215. Arvinda Prabhu has done the total rand value of 11,200 rands. I think that's my. Yeah, at number 2 we have Arvinda, and that's 11,200 rands, a total of 140 Mahabooks, with a total of 248 book points. Total of 1,118 books, comprising of 758 Mahabooks, 30 big books, 330 small books, a very own, a total, sorry, before I get there, a total consolidated scores of the December Book Marathon for New Zealand Puri. So all of the devotees that participated, thank you very much. We really appreciate the effort. And those devotees that have not participated, we can also always participate next year. So once again, thank you so much for participating.
We disagree with the evidence for our launch schedule. So March will be every 3 weeks. So punctually, the third week in July, March will be back every week. So please try and make us available to get one more association. Those that participate in book marathon, you may pick up a gift from Art and at the end of the program. So we'll have Kerry Sanga.